Okay, well, I've had several requests for an action menu, and I'm going to supply this plugin in the marketplace and on the plugin repository. And what we wanted to accomplish with an action menu is that when we touch the action object, that it brings up just one menu, and this one menu will control all of the breeds. And we have three options here: to come to me, come to the owner; to go home, which is in this the general area around the action object; and then a wander on off toggle button. And I define that all here in the action settings, and I'll supply this as well in the plugin repository. Oops. So what we have here is this is the action extension menu. It's set up the same way as the built-in menu. Allows you to use, of course, any of the expressions within this, but I've also created new expressions for the action object, such as the action touch key. And we have a filter, so when the native touch number 0 event is called by me touching on the action object, I'm going to filter out anyone who's not the owner. So if the action touch key is the owner key, it'll give me the menu. However, if it's not, it'll call back to the public menu, which is our false callback event, which you can do stuff here for when somebody else touches. This is just a simple example, and what I've set up is for three different buttons. I have the come here, and then I'm using an expression to determine whether the button's going to be wander on or wander off. So I'm using a toggle that filters it for me. So if the button that I clicked is wander on, it'll change the button to wander off and turn on the timer for the wander event, which is defined here, and it's defined with a movement, also using the action position as the anchor position, and the offset would be a 5-meter radius around that using non-physical movement. And we will just do it at normal, and I'm also just making it so it avoids any objects. So if there's any objects in the way, and I've had a little barrier here for a while, just because I like to have a barrier up here in case I have objects that are running around. So they'll detect that, and they won't try to go past that area. Or if there were any other objects in the way, it's going to use the avoid flag 3 to avoid objects. That's the simplest and probably most practical avoid flag. And so when if they do look at a position, try to go to a position that's being blocked by something, they'll avoid it. They won't go to that position, so it'll call back to avoid this customized callback event, which we've defined here, and it will retoggle the wander and try another randomized position. So besides just that, and the come to the owner call, where it unbinds the wander if it's set, and it moves the it disables the movement parameter. So if there was any movement going on, it'll stop that. And if the and we'll also do it'll move to the owner's position using just a simple walking behavior type instead of the non-physical, just to change it up, show that we can use different movements. So similar to coming here to me, the same exact scenario set up for going home, which is going back to the action position. So this is just a simple example of how to set the functionality up behind the menu, but the menu here is actually an extension called Action Menu. Like I said, will be available on the marketplace. But now what we're going to want to do is I will show you a couple examples. So when I touch on it, it gives me the menu. I'll turn wander on, and that sets the timer between 0 and 10 seconds for the breeds to start picking random spots within a perimeter, and they'll just wander about. And the way it's set right now, there's a new setting that I've added to it. But of course, just so you can see, these are in fact non-physical. So when they start moving around, you can see that they'll continue to move around. They're non-physical. They're using the framed motion function that's built in the Second Life. And I added a setting so that it determines whether or not it's going to complete the movement. And I just wanted to show that off while I'm in this tutorial, and it's called finish move. If it's set to true, it's going to finish its move before, if there's anything else called, any other movement events called while it's in the process of moving to its destination. If this is true, it's going to allow it to finish its move. If it's false, it will allow it to be interrupted, and it will from there move on to the next frame, which could actually disable any callbacks that were associated with the original move, such as arriving at the position. So now that they're all moving around, and you can see them all moving around, we're going to just turn wander off. They'll complete their movements to their the last called movement position, and they'll just be stopped. So now wander's off, and they won't get any more callbacks to continue any kind of motion. So if we want to have them all come to me, we can touch the action object again to get the menu, tell them all to come to me, and there they all come. And similarly, we can set it up so that we can send them back over to their home object. A really simple simulation, and as you can see, that when I am touching this, it toggles the wandering on, and when I click it again, it will give me the wander off button, because it changes, it toggles it within the settings, the action class list. So this will be available to you on the marketplace, and if you need the settings that I use, the action class settings, they will be on the plugin repository, and hopefully this will help give you the simulation that you are looking to achieve.